All right, everyone, welcome to the next installment of the Great Recruiter Spotlight. We have Todd with BridgeView IT here. Todd, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you jumping on. I know you guys are busy as recruiters out there. Just got your profile up here in front of me. It's 4.76, almost 200 reviews, looking at a 97% recommendation rate. Which is phenomenal. So congrats on those stats.
Thank you.
As we jump in here, just love to hear a little bit about you, who you are, how you got into recruiting, and a little bit about BridgeView IT.
All right, perfect. Well, I got into recruiting probably late 90s, so a little over 20 years ago. Actually came up as more of started as an engineer, was a mechanical engineer for about 5 years, and then got into recruiting, did mostly recruiting and engineering, embedded software, telecom type engineering, and then moved more into the IT space. I've been with BridgeView just over coming up on 5 years, but I've actually known Tim and Chris for quite some time, specifically Chris, because I worked with him probably around 2000 for a couple years at one of the companies. So I kind of knew him.
Nice.
And then I actually worked with Tim's wife. So that's kind of indirectly knew him at that time. So I've kind of known the BridgeView crew for a while. Great people. It's been a phenomenal place to work for, after being in the recruiting industry for quite some time. It's good to land in a company that takes care of their employees, gives them the freedom to do what they do, but gives them all the tools and the processes to excel at our job. So
yeah, for sure. And your reviews and scores, kind of reflect that flexibility and able to kind of run your own ship there a little bit.
Yep.
So one thing we always like to ask is, as a recruiter, you said, you've been in the industry for quite a long time now, been at BridgeView for just about 5 years. What is one thing that kind of kept you in industry that you love about, the industry and about recruiting?
I'd say the big thing, because when I did engineering for about 5 years, and engineering was great, but it was working in a company, and kind of the big thing I kind of saw is, especially engineers, they kind of just sitting at their cubicle doing their thing, not a whole lot of interaction. And I kind of moved into a role where I was doing more technical services engineering, where I was dealing with customers. And when my good friend of mine had been in the staffing industry and kind of said, hey, when I started looking for a job, he said, hey, would you be interested in getting into staffing? And that's kind of how I got into it. And I'd say the big things I've enjoyed about it, you're constantly interacting with people. You're talking with people every day. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a roller coaster ride. You deals with the ups and you deal with the downs. But the good thing is you're dealing with people every day, and I enjoy working with people, and that's kind of what has driven me to stay in the industry and stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's one thing that most of the people I've talked with on these GR spotlights have kind of reiterated that same thought that every day is different. You will have your ups and downs, but just that they love talking to people, helping people, and things along those lines. So it's that all recruiters kind of have that similar mindset.
Yep, totally.
You probably have to have that similar mindset in this space.
Yeah. And I think another important thing is, and probably one of the things that kind of relates to some of the reviews, I always try, and it's real easy to treat people as a product or a commodity, but I always try and find something I can connect with people on. I mean, think about how you and I talked about before this, just about things. I mean, that's how I seem like you can kind of develop a relationship, more of a relationship rather than just more of a business relationship, more of a personal relationship with people. So I think that's an important part of recruiting as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, you mentioned that we probably spent 10 minutes before we started jumping in this, just talking. I looked at your profile and I saw that, you had a background in baseball and sports. I played baseball all through high school. I'm going camping this weekend, and you mentioned camping with your family on there. So just kind of creating that human to human connection.
Yep. Totally. So
that comfort level is already there and stuff, and makes the whole rest of the conversation kind of flow in my
smooth. Exactly.
Speaking of smooth, things haven't been, all that smooth lately, just as far as the job market and, just the current economic state. Have you faced any challenges, any setbacks? Have you seen anything different in your space? Any challenges you're facing?
Yeah, I would say the funny thing is we've done pretty good as a company. I'm gonna knock on wood, but I mean we've had
Yeah.
a couple clients that have been pretty actively hiring during the whole pandemic, which has been. But we've also seen the flip side. We've seen a lot of clients lay off people, go to complete halt um, on things. And so, yes, there is challenges. I think I'd say most of the stuff we're seeing right now has been more contract focused. Although more recently, we're starting to see a little more full time trickle in, which hopefully are signs that hey, the market is starting to, you know, move forward
Yeah.
from what we dealt with on the pandemic. But I would just say yes, it's had its challenges, but I think one of the things as recruiters we've tried, even as a team, we've tried to do is you could spend that as a way to kind of build your network. You know what I mean? Connect with people that maybe have lost their job, and then, because we know it's going to come back, and you've already kind of started to build your network
Sure.
with people that maybe typically wouldn't get in touch with. So,
No, I think that's fantastic. And I specifically recall one of the other recruiters that I talked with kind of mentioned that same thing, and took the time while there was a bit of a lull in job orders and filling jobs to again reconnect with past candidates and almost act as just like a shoulder to lean on as an advisor,
yep,
and just kind of re-network, reconnect. And then, like you said, boom, when those full-time jobs are coming back, or even those contract positions, you're probably the first person they think of, like, oh, I talked to, Todd, 2 months ago, and
exactly.
he, helped me revamp my resume or something. And, let's see what he has available for us.
Yep. No, totally.
Beautiful. No, but glad to hear you guys, weather the storm a bit. And from what I've seen, and I attend, industry webinars and read a bunch of reports and such, that it's hopeful that by Q4, Q1, that things will are starting to turn around a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think we're starting to see a little bit of it already.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
so
Especially across certain industries and stuff, certain
yeah.
verticals for sure.
Yeah.
Touching on great recruiters specifically, are there any tools or features that you have found that are able to really help you elevate your game? Things that you really leverage as an individual?
Are you saying within great recruiters or just
Yeah, I mean,
in
with
general?
features on the platform, the profile, the social share, or do you just the feedback you're getting back from these candidates, has that been beneficial to you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think it's been great kind of getting that feedback because number one, there's probably a lot of times we don't get a lot of feedback from dealing with people. I mean, maybe if they continue to deal with you, obviously it sounds like they've had a good relationship. So no, it's been good so you can continue to improve your skills. And I think it kind of also holds yourself a little more accountable too, because if you're getting reviews, as far as just more the follow up, making sure you're following up with candidates. So no, it's been hugely beneficial. Plus, it's things that we can put out on, whether it be, I know Tim and them have put them out. I don't know if it's on our website or in some of our profiles that,
Yep.
That can kind of show, kind of leverage maybe if people can see this stuff is if they're getting reached out and they can see it and they can see getting good positive reviews. It's like, 'cause recruiting industry maybe doesn't have the most uh, glamorous reputation, should I say? But just because I think some of the others in the industry, so I think having that stuff gives it a lot of, helps us give a little more validity about what our reputation and stuff is like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the founder of Great Recruiters. That was his core reason
Hmm.
for the idea and coming up with Great Recruiters, is that he noticed, he worked in the industry for 20 years and noticed that the reputation, like you just mentioned, wasn't super strong. And And the goal with the platform is to build that reputation up for, you as an individual under the BridgeView IT name, and continue a strong, brand partnership there for you guys.
Yep. Yep.
I know you mentioned, the feedback coming in has been beneficial to you. Is there a time where you recall maybe getting some constructive criticism that you've been able to, change a process or help you grow, like you mentioned?
Yeah, actually, for sure. I have to give you one instance that was kind of funny, though. So I had just talked to this candidate. I think it was the day before, or not the day before, but I mean, this was probably about a month or two ago. And I talked to him, and then the next day I got a review, and I got kind of like a 2.6 review. And basically the review was like, it's been non-responsive, hadn't heard from him. And I was like, I called the guy back up, and I was like, hey, notice you gave me a review, but I was just like curious. We just talked about a position yesterday, and you're saying I was very responsive. You got to understand, it takes a little time here. Well, it comes to find out what happened, and it was another Todd at Cognizant he was dealing with that he hadn't heard from for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
He never did change it, but it was kind of funny. It was just like, okay. I was like, all right. I was just wondering why you were, but that was kind of funny. But yeah, it's, I don't think, I'm trying to remember. I mean, I've had a few that maybe haven't been as high, but I can't remember. Sometimes it's kind of like, how would you say, Glassdoor, about companies, if I did get somewhat of a negative response, if I didn't feel like I really did anything, it's like, okay, this person's maybe just got some kind of into recruiters. But other than that, no, it's been great. I mean, as far as getting the feedback and being helpful, and when you see maybe some areas you're lacking, it helps you to make sure you're improving on your game. But as far as the negative stuff, I've absolutely, if I get something negative, I usually try and follow up, or, go,
No, like you just mentioned, following up, turns out the guy, thinking of a different Todd, but, there's no way you're going to know unless you, have that review to follow up. So, like both the positive and the not so positive, again, sounds like you're taking those reviews to heart and really, looking
absolutely
to continue to grow. So, which is great. Beautiful. Well, Todd, again, really appreciate the time today. Not too much I had on the docket here. Any last minute tips that you want to share with other recruiters out there in the space? Maybe any ex-baseball players as well?
No, I think we're good. I mean, it's just I don't know. I've been in recruiting for quite some time. I just think it's it's a relationship business, so stay true to your. I always try to treat people as I feel like I would want to be treated on this end. So I'd say that was probably the biggest thing I would give to anybody, is just think about, put yourself on the other side, and how would you want to be, your experience to be. So
100%.
So other than that, thanks for the time, David. Good luck camping.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Todd from BridgeView IT. Thanks for joining.
All right. Thanks, David.
Have a good one.
Bye.